I told you so. My name is Van Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. So for the first time ever, I can use those words with a huge smile on my face in a conversation with my wife. I need to add that, right? Without getting my ass kicked. Now, we all hate hearing those words, I told you so, because usually it comes before you do something brave or stupid, and then you have to deal with the consequences of I told you so, and then someone gloating. And I could do that today in a good way. Let me explain. Marta's been working in a new capacity with her employer, something that I think she's really good at and she should be doing. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I don't understand 100% the context of her job. She doesn't tell me too much of it because some of it's under non-disclosure agreements and that kind of stuff. So we tend not to speak too much of the finer details of our jobs. But, you know, she's been going through a tough time settling into this new role. And, sorry, I'm also thinking about saying things very carefully, not to create the wrong impression, but she's gone through a few tough times. And this is, I think, also related to the idea or the job of being a project manager. So I've been a project manager in different capacities in my career too. And I've had to deal with a whole bunch of, like we project manage types talk about, fuck ups. Sorry, that's how it works. But the thing is, what I've learned since working at the firm is that you always need to look wider than the F up to understand what the context is, who it's affecting, what is the actual picture, what is the big picture look like? Because for a long time, I used to get very, very stressed out. And to be honest, I still do. But I'm able to manage that a little bit better. I'm not perfect because I'm able to see a lot of perspectives. And I had to learn this the hard way. I had some really great leaders who've given me like the behind the scenes view of things. So for example, when you ask someone to do a piece of work and they spend more time on that piece of work than you expected to, or what you estimated. Remember, a project manager needs to estimate how much time it will take to do a certain piece of work. And it's not necessarily about hitting that deadline. It also relates back to what you're charging your client. So let's say I'm charging my client $10 to do a piece of work for 10 hours, and the person who does the work does it in 15 hours. Freak out. But the thing is, what I've learned, even at the firm, is that we look at the realization of that. So, okay, I didn't manage to get the work done in that 10 hours. And I'm not talking about deadlines. I'm talking about the financial part of this. And so it just means that your realization goes lower. So the huge profit that you wanted to make is probably halved a little bit. It's just less profit. And if you take into account that potentially a person doing the work is working at a much lower kind of rate and there's a huge margin for yourself, hey, that's what happens in project management. And then also when you speak to your leadership and you're able to draw them a picture of what's happening and why certain things are happening, more than likely when you have a problem, your leadership will start pulling strings to help you reach your goals. Or, well, not you personally. We all have a vested interest in making the project a success so that your company can succeed. So they will step in and help. But you need to tell the story properly, because I've seen, and even in the last couple of weeks, if you don't tell the story in the right way, leadership tends to make their own conclusions, and that's usually where there's a mistake. Not on your side, but on the leadership. They just assume something and then it snowballs out of control. Anyways, I'm waffling again. But Marta was relatively stressed out about something, and we worked together. We crafted the story that she was going to tell. And she just got off the phone with her boss, and her boss was massively supportive, looked at the situation, and really helped her. And I could really hear in Marta's voice that she felt that she won. For everybody, not just for herself, and it was a uplifting conversation. The other thing that I also said to Marta, and this is something that I'm so guilty of all the time, and sometimes it's about just kidding or joking, but I really need to stop that too. And I want you to think about this if you're guilty of doing this. Now, I know one or two of my friends don't do this, but listen to what I'm going to say. This is super important because I had to say, I told you so a couple of minutes ago. I was right, okay? Just trust me. One thing I do a lot, and I know Martha does that, is that we do and say things that is self-deprecating. Things like, hey, I'm not really experienced in this. I'm very new in doing this. I am uncertain when I do this. I don't think I'm ready. Words like those are irrelevant in a conversation with your boss when you're not doing a review of your performance. When you're working on a project, you need to instill confidence. You shouldn't lie, but there's no need to add words like that into the conversation. And I urge Martha to do that as well. And it also goes for your team members. You cannot say to like team member X is useless or as being a pain in the ass. You can only show the results, hours, outcomes, and highlight challenges. Never lie. I'm not saying lie. And I think that is a very important aspect of doing a lot of work. I find it in myself at the moment where I'm really stepping into a whole new world. I had a conversation with a friend, potential colleague, potential client earlier this week where they want me to potentially consult and help on a topic that I kind of know. See, I'm doing this with you. I know a lot about this topic. I've worked and explored and read and whatever, but I'm so careful because in the one way, I don't want to ever bullshit anybody saying to them that I can do this without a problem and don't worry. Because you know what? We had people like that walking into our home telling us that about our damn shower. And then 3 years later, I have to listen to drilling all day long as someone else is not trying to fix our shower. So I never want to lie, but I have to be confident in what I know. And there is an element of like, and I've seen this in my own career, that, fake it till you make it. It's not entirely wrong. Assess the situation and see what you need to learn and see if you can learn that in the period of time required and then go for it. But never ever say to your boss, you're uncertain or you're feeling that you can't make it or I'm looking for another job. You can think that to yourself and then talk to yourself and sort your shit out. But stop running yourself down, man. There's too many other con artists out there. Some of them even presidents of big ass countries who can't really do the job, but they got the job. And they're patting themselves on the back. So now, you know what? You are not that bad. You can do this. See? Told you so.